And now we are joined by the national chair of the PAC, Mr. Sbusiso Xaba, who comes in smiling this morning. How are you feeling?
We're feeling all right. We appreciate that the voters came out, and we appreciate the voting that we received in these elections.
You need to explain to me where that appreciation and joy comes from when, I mean, I'm looking at the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parties on the national ballot, and you don't even appear there.
We were working to get to the top 10, but we did not make it there. But we made it back to Parliament as far as we can see. So we are okay. Also, if you look at our numbers, we did better than the last elections, head count-wise. Even better when you look at the percentage. We are almost 25% better than we did last time.
Okay, well, I mean, you've got to talk to me about what the target was. And let me do this, Matala, before we actually allow Mr. Xaba to respond. You've been doing a sort of analysis, estimation perhaps on which political parties will get how many seats, if at all, in the National Assembly. And you think with the PAC sitting right now at 34,000 votes, this is out of 15 million, that they might have secured themselves a seat?
I think the remaining 100 VDs or so will actually seal the PAC's fate. I think there was a concession on Mr. Xaba's part about the likelihood of being eclipsed by Al-Jama or the Triple C. So the 100 VDs that are still outstanding to be captured will seal their fate in terms of the national ballot.
Okay, so where's your confidence sitting mostly?
Our confidence sits particularly in the Eastern Cape, although it's finished, and Gauteng, which is still most of those VTs sit in. And they sit in areas where mostly the lines were in the townships.
Yeah. This was a political party that I think coming into this election, some might have thought that it was coming into this election very likely obliterated after the leadership challenges that the PAC has had. I mean, at some point you had about 4 to 5 leaders claiming that they were the rightful leaders of the PAC. I mean, were you able to communicate effectively to your voters that is settled?
We believe so. In the past elections, they used to ask us, which PAC are you? But that question is no more. And that now has been away for the past 5 years. So it's a legacy perception, and we believe that it's no longer in the mind of a voter. We just have to message differently. The targeting of our message has been going to people who cannot absorb it fully.
What is it about the messaging? I mean, just recently I spoke to the president of the PAC. And one of the things that he talked about is how the messaging of the PAC is one that is shared by a lot of political parties, but they have lost ownership of some of their messaging. Matala, do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think, Naledi, messaging is quite important in any political campaign. I think you'd have noticed that in the few weeks leading up to elections, there was a lot of message refining from political parties to actually clearly articulate their policy positions. I think we have seen in parties like Rise Mzansi where the message was a bit refined in terms of how it resonated with voters. The EFF actually attempted to do the message refining later. You'd remember that they had to bring people out like Sbusiso Xaba to kind of clarify certain policy positions. That was an attempt at message refining. And I think message refining is quite important, actually, or the messaging is quite important to capture the voter, create more understanding on the voter's part.
Yeah, and were you happy with how you did that?
No, we're not happy. We still have less learning to learn. If you look at our core messaging, the number 3 and 4 use exactly the door that we've created over the years. And out of that, they got a lot more than we could get. So there are opportunities for us to refine our messages.
So is any other political party come knocking to say, well, those over 30,000 votes that you've got on the national ballot, bring them this way?
We are basically on the table to talk. The era that we're in, it's an era of coalition. There is no abroad winner in 4 provinces, at least, or let me say 3 family, and the other 2 are very close winning. So the era dictates that you must be able to interact with your peers if you want to govern or if you want to push your policy posture. So as the PAC, we have, I think we've used local government effectively to learn how to interact with our peers, to learn how to bargain for our constituencies.
Who's come knocking?
I'm not at liberty to release that for now, but I think from a policy posture, you would have seen that the ATMs, the EFFs, the MK speak the language that we have more higher affinity to.
Yeah.
But there's the policy posture and also there's ability to work together.
I don't think anyone can argue that, will be surprised that that was going to be your answer. And just before I let you go, this will probably be my final answer. Is the PAC a party, and I say this, that you come in and you're smiling, you're looking quite jovial. Is the PAC a party that right now was just happy to stay alive and not necessarily aiming to thrive?
We are aiming to thrive. You know what makes us happy more than anything? If you look at 1994, the paradigm of the nation was a welfare, give us something. The paradigm of the nation, we were preaching that we must change the paradigm, that we hold our destiny, we hold our economy, we should be controllers.
Yeah.
As Africans, it's us who should be in charge of the economy. We should not beg anyone. And that posture has crossed the 30% line and moving towards 50%. So you can look at the party and say that we're still 1% under, but the work that we've done have turned to, it's going now to a 50% mark. And that posture of changing that section 25 of the Constitution, we can now smell it. That's why I was smiling.
The land, the PAC still wants it. I'm very, very jovial about that as well. But we're going to leave it there. Mr. Xaba, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Sbusiso Xaba there is the national chairperson of the PAC.